And if you haven't met me yet outside of the sanctuary, I tend to be a smart aleck about some things. And one year, one of my friends asked me, "What are you going to give up for Lent?" And my response back to them was, "I'm going to give up giving up things for Lent this year." And the principle came from me being a smart aleck. But I thought about it, and I realized what I needed to do for Lent that year was to give up giving up things. I want you to think about your past practices of Lent. And we all have the practice, Lent comes along, I'm going to give up the Snickers bar in the grocery line for Lent this year. I'm going to give up spending money on very specific items. Most years, my thing was I'm going to give up Ben & Jerry's ice cream for the 40 days. And I thought about the things that I was going to give up, but I thought about what I do every Easter. Every Easter, I go run into the refrigerator to have the Ben & Jerry's ice cream that I gave up for Lent. And I realized what my Lenten practice had become for me was this practice of 40 days of being really miserable until I got to the point that I could have the thing that I gave up. I remember I could really go for some Cherry Garcia right now, more than how I was transformed because of what I gave up for Lent. So what I began to think about was a sermon that was given by a pastor by the name of John Farmer. John Farmer was a pastor of the First United Methodist Church of Bristol, Tennessee. It was the first Methodist church that I worked in. And one year, Pastor Farmer shared his spiritual practice of adding something for Lent. He was going to add something. And his rationale behind it, and the one that I have adopted since, has been when we give up something and we spend more time thinking about getting it back, it continues to take the focus away from Jesus Christ, which is what we're supposed to be focused on through Lent. The intentional refocusing on the journey of Jesus Christ so that we can find change and transformation within ourselves and celebrate a resurrection in spirit on Easter. When I began adding things, I saw a greater change in myself at Easter. I added a time of intentional reading to have better explanations, better quotes in my sermons than comic books. In time, I added the spiritual practice of going on a walk, but not just going on a walk for exercise, but going on a walk where I intentionally disconnect. I don't have the headphones in. I don't have other distractions in my way. Just on a walk to be in the presence of Jesus Christ. And I found the more that I added to my life through these practices, the more that I added to my life to intentionally to move closer to Jesus Christ, I found those were the things that stuck more than me praying for Easter Sunday to come so I could have my Ben & Jerry's ice cream. I want you to think for a moment about the things that you need to add to your life in order to intentionally grow closer to the presence of Jesus Christ. I found within myself, instead of longing for what I needed to give up, but praying intentionally for ways to move closer to Christ, I found a deeper spiritual transformation through what I was praying for through Lent. It wasn't the gnashing or worrying of what that I was not able to have, but it became for me a true celebration of what Jesus Christ did. Looking towards Christ intentionally. If that your focus towards Christ comes through giving something up, then I will celebrate that with you. Because I found out there's times that I eat Ben & Jerry's ice cream when I should be on my knees praying. I've found out that there's times that I've gone off on a spiritual walk instead of staying in the presence with an individual that I needed to finish that argument with so that we could be at a place of rest and comfort with each other. Within everything, the challenge through Lent is to find a way to intentionally refocus our eyes towards the water that is the Holy Spirit. The transforming waters that the lady at the well asked about when that Christ stood with her. And if you drink from this water, you will remain thirsty, but this water will feed your spirit and transform you. I look forward to going through this journey with you, to hear what you add, to hear what you take away, as long as through all of it, we also have the conversation of what it means to be in focus on Jesus Christ. Sometimes we set aside our own personal comfort for that. I won't say who it is, but I had this conversation last night at our pancake dinner, and someone is going to add something that I would find very uncomfortable. It's the spiritual actions of cleaning up other dogs' poop. making the environment cleaner and more comfortable so that it can be comfortable places for other people to be.
It's a good task for an 8-year-old.
I didn't say out yourself. But that focus of I'm caring for my place, I'm caring for my environment, is a spiritual action. My spiritual action is there is one day a week through Lent that I hope it becomes my regular thing, that is my day of reading. My day of reading opinions that differ from mine. My day of reading to gain references that are different from my own understanding. My adding this year is a day of reading and interaction. Whatever you do, whether that you give up or whether that you add, whatever it is, the end result is to move closer to Jesus Christ. Let's join together in prayer.